We look to the heavens for hope, guidance in a world of uncertainty. Within our universe, a mighty star shines bright over us and reflects itself to enlighten our darkness. It is from that star that our very molecules are born, boundless and bright. That mighty star commands a universe of stars that bear witness to our history and are attached to our ideas of the future. In these stars, we find our beginnings. In these stars, we learn of our endings. We look to the heavens for hope.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of In the Stars with Dwayne. I'm your host, Dwayne Dunleavy, and this is our 13th episode. And so, obviously the number 13 has a lot of meaning behind it. I choose to think it's good. In fact, if you add 3 and 1 together, it makes 4, which is divisible by 2, which is complete balance. So I think it's a great thing. And it's so funny because our 13th episode is the one where we kind of wrap everything up with all of the information about all the cards and the signs and everything that I've done in a very quick and easy nutshell kind of succinct way so that you guys could get an idea of everything without having to go to a 4-year college with me in order to understand it, because I'm also myself in the college of life, just learning about stuff as I go along too. So anyway, we are on what is called the minor arcana, but it is nothing to be thought of as minor in any sense. It's actually more kind of intense than the major arcana. The reason that the major arcana is what it is, which we talked about in the last episode, is because it kind of goes over. It's the overarching larger things about life. And this, the minor arcana, is more the everyday, the more minute kind of things. So it's more kind of scattered, more dense up in the major arcana and more scattered out in the minor arcana. This is where we figure out the suits of the cards and what those things mean. For me, when I started to learn about the tarot cards, I was like, really like, how do I attack this? How do I learn what these things mean and what that means to a reading and all of that? And so this was really important. So those of you who are really trying to figure out how to start reading cards for yourself, my own sister is actually trying now to get her. She got a deck and she's trying to put together her feelings and ideas, which we've talked about. It's not just about these definitions of these cards. It's a lot to do with how you feel during a reading, what your own interpretation of cards are. But the basis of this is that we have to somehow get around to the 78 cards, which are the total deck. And this is the minor part of that, or again, not the minor, but what's called the minor arcana. So we have the 4 suits. The 4 suits, I like to start with wands, because the wands, which are these cards, the ones that have the sticks also, you can call them, but from Old English, I think, is where the wand came from. The wands represent action, initiative, doing things, creating, producing. It directly corresponds to astrology, where fire is the wands. So, and as you can see in the wand cards, it's the color of fire. So you can also think of the wands as a fire element. That's how it all connects through astrology. The next thing is the cups. The cups I like to think of as emotion, feeling, understanding, all of the kind of gushy kind of parts of life, you could say, and that's what makes the water. And water is all about emotion. It's also knowledge, those types of things. Next, we have the swords. The swords are about thinking, about the mind, about analysis, and also they are air. And you can see that in a lot of these cards, that there is, an air kind of quality to even the clouds here, the bluish color. And then we have the pentacles. The pentacles are these, kind of stars. and they represent earth and earthly things like money, investments, property, um, family, things that are tangible. So, what you want to always think about when you're thinking about these four suits is what's the suit? What does that represent? And then, even further, what does the number of it mean? So, there are numbers for each of the suits. And I will show you, for instance, let's look at this one. This is the 10 of wands. So you see there are 10 wands, and 10 can be the number a lot of times. 10 is the number of uh, overall life, environment, balance of life, spiritual connection, everything kind of being balanced in all aspects. In the, I believe it's the Kabbalah, there is the tree of life. And if you look at it is the 10 of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles is, those pentacles are in the shape of that tree of life from the Kabbalah, which is also related to Judaism and things like that, that goes back thousands of years. But it's all connected. And that doesn't mean that if you are one religion or another religion, it just so happens that every religion kind of can come back to somehow, even paganism. It all kind of like all works together with history. So that's how you can also kind of remember. That's how I remember these things. When we're talking about the air signs, when we were talking about astrology, air signs, fire signs, water signs. We also talked about, I know we did a whole episode on the corresponding tarot card that goes along with the sign. So we know those. You can now connect the suit and its element, the fire, the water, to those things. So if I say, let's say I get a 10 of wands, let's pull whatever comes up. This is an 8 of pentacles and a Knight of Cups. If I were to pull this and lay it out, the first thing that I can notice is that there is fire, earth, and water. Fire, earth, water. These are movement, action, production. This is about creating, investing, putting money away, those types of things. This is about kind of an understanding, a pulling through of emotional desires and initiatives that have been set forth before. So if I were to pull this, I might say there's a lot of things that need to be done to pull together the financial or investment things that have been worked on for quite a while in a way that really feels good from the inside. So that's like a sample of how you might do a reading based on both what the card means, what its suit is, and how it feels to you and what images come to you. I always say this too. I used to do readings without cards and without even thinking about astrology, just feeling energy, and kind of, that's an amazing thing too. So the energy is real. These are just tools that help you to kind of, organize the thoughts and those types of things. So let's talk about what the other things are. We talked about let's go over each of the numbers so that you can have an idea of what each number then means from each suit. So for instance, aces represent potential or the earliest stage, which is easy to think of because of the number 1, obviously. 2 is about balance. It's about dichotomy, 2 different things and how they work together. And it's really about finding equilibrium in a situation. All right. So 3 is about communication, interactions, life, work, emotions, those types of things. So you can think about it as the 3 has the 3 points. The middle could be kind of an advisor to the other 2. So that means it's about interactions. 4 represents a break or a rest, wanting to move forward, but needing to contemplate where you've been before that next step is taken. 5s are about adversity. I remember that by thinking about the unevenness of that number. So there's, again, something in the middle and 2 on each side. So 5 can be about also loss, about negative experiences. I think about that middle as kind of a wall between the good and the bad. But then you have to realize that good and bad are also subjective. So nothing is really good or bad. We as humans put that on things. 6 is about growth, overcoming challenges, all kinds of things that have to do with faith in yourself. So you can always think of 6 as kind of being like, I think of it as 3 2s. So it's like 3 2s have done what they've needed to do to make the 6. So it's about, making things happen and overcoming. Next is 7. This is about seeing things through, confidence and truth, things that can help you to, once you, let's say, reach a desire or a goal, what comes next. 8 are cards of work and change, and the reason I remember 8 as work, because it never ends. It's an infinity sign. So that's something that might help you to remember that. 9s are about fruition, things that have really been worked on to, in a long kind of way, not over a day or two, but over months, over years. These are things coming to fruition that have been well planned, well created. And final outcomes is what 10 is all about. And we already talked about 10 because of the tree of life and all of that. So it's about consequences and experiences that must happen in order to get to that final outcome. And again, some of those experiences may have been thought of as negative, but we were just putting it on at that time. You can look at negative experiences from the future back at them and say, wow, that really taught me a lot and got me to this place that I'm at. So in the numbers, it's pretty easy, because as you see, you can kind of get the idea of what thing each one means, and then create a picture, do something in your head to kind of remember those. And then we move on to the other things that are the characters, I like to call them, pages, knights, queens, and kings. So let me find a couple of these. So what's funny is I had all of my cards completely figured out for this, and then somebody really needed a reading, so I had to shuffle them, which was cool, because it's not like I put everything in order each time and then shuffle it each time. But when I did that, it was kind of cool to see how it turned out. But I'm not doing that every time. It takes a lot to get these to come through. Anyway, so let's start with our pages. Pages. There's got to be a page in here somewhere. There we go. Page of Wands. These are about messages and beginnings. So the pages are about people who might bring you a message in the old days on a scroll. The guy who in the movie comes up and hands the scroll to the queen. That's like, think of that as a page. So that's the messages. Also beginnings. So if you think about that guy who's delivering that scroll, he's starting something. Once that message is received by somebody, that might be a new business deal. It might be a visit that's upcoming. So think of that as messages and beginnings. All right, that's the pages. Now let me find a knight. There's a king for when we do that, so I don't have to look for it. Knight. All right, so the Knight of Wands are about movement. All knights are about movement, actually. So it's about kind of getting your stuff together and then setting it in motion. So the knights are about getting it going. And as you can see, the Knight of Wands would mean kind of double that meaning. The wand itself being fire, and the knight being about moving. It's kind of like a double dose of fire. So hopefully that will stick with you as well. Okay. I wish somebody had done this for me. Actually, I did this for me. So I'm glad that you guys get to see this. All right. So the next thing is what? Our queens. Queens are, here we go. Well, that's a Queen of Wands. Let me do a Queen of Cups. Show you what that looks like. So the Queen of Cups. Queens are feminine messages of power, potential, and advice. So think about why would you go to the Queen? Let's say if you were the prince or the princess, okay, and you all are, you would go to the queen to ask for advice, to ask for counsel. So anytime you see a queen of a certain suit, think about advice and think about the suit that it is. So this is advice on feelings, about emotions, about the way that things happen inside the body. And that is also a double dose of water. So it's feminine also. So, with the kings, they also bring a masculine energy, but it's not as pronounced as with the queen of a certain suit. All right. And then finally, the kings. And I had the king ready to go. Here we go. All right. So the wands are coming up a lot for me, probably because I'm a fire sign. So I keep pulling these wands, but you'll get the idea. And I think it's interesting to bring on that double dose of each sign. So this is a fire card. It's a wand, and so it already means about movement, but it's about masculinity, authority, power. This is about flexing. It can also mean another person in a reading. It can be like, is that person at work a male energy trying to dominate, this type of thing. So that's what this is. And as you can see, again, it's a wand. So it's the colors of fire. So it's a double dose of that. This can sometimes mean the boss at a company. It can mean the father. It can mean all of those types of things. So those are all of the tarot cards. It's so exciting. I can't believe we went over episodes of each thing, which not only hopefully imparted on you guys a basic, very basic, nutshell, simple knowledge. Because, when I do this too, I think of all the people out there who are amazing at astrology and at all of tarot cards, and and I'm like, they must be like, who is this guy? But everybody has their own thing, and you should feel the same way. I mean, as I said in the beginning, astrology, tarot, I don't live my life by it, but I do spend a lot of my time thinking about it. And I'm always trying to get it to prove itself to be completely wrong and wackadoo. And it's not. There's a lot of connections between all of this stuff. But I don't base anything completely on that. You have to kind of take everything in your own way and just be an authentic person. I mean, that's what you got to do. So if you're thinking about doing this, either to pull a card every day and see what you think your future holds from it, or doing it for other people as readings, no matter what you want to do, it's a great knowledge. It's a 3,000, at least, probably. I'm sure it's much older than that, but it's at least 3,000 years old. And this is art. Look at that. It encapsulates so many things. And that's why I think a lot of creative people are connected to astrology and tarot. And it actually is considered entertainment, which is funny because as an entertainer, I am, always performing and doing things in front of people, but I always thought this was something completely different. And it's not, because people really enjoy kind of getting people's ideas of what they think or what they feel about their future. So it can be a lot of fun and really interesting. So what I'm really looking forward to is that in the future, in our next episode, and if you've been with us from the get-go, thank you so much. And those of you who I know I tell you in person, thank you for watching. But now you can actually get a reading live. So the whole reason we've done these 13 episodes was so that anybody who is just completely, maybe never even heard of astrology or tarot cards, and is like sitting in the middle of the country somewhere and has never seen anything about it, it's like, tell me what it is, because I'd like to learn about it. That's why we did that. Now that everybody has had a fair chance to kind of understand what I feel it is and how it works, now you can actually call in and get readings, and that'll be interesting to see how it kind of the readings go, because I do readings all the time. There are some people who don't want to do a live reading, which is totally fine. But to keep in mind, another thing that you can do, especially when you're deciding to be someone who wants to do tarot readings, astrology readings, any of that, is to remember that you can choose to get any of the images, messages that you receive to be always positive. I don't ever want to get negative things about people, that negative events that are coming up. I know that's subjective too. Like, I could tell you not to maybe, look at an investment that might be wrong or something, but you can kind of guide where your thoughts and where I like to think that everybody has a bunch of messengers kind of flying above them that have been kind of like building up over decades and millennia of time through your family, people who've passed on, friends, family members who now live to, or not live in the sense that we live, but are there to kind of guide you and protect you. And when I do readings, before I do every single reading, I say to those entities to please come to me and give the message to that person that I think they need to hear. So you can guide your readings in that way, and you can make sure that some people don't even like to be read because they're afraid that they're going to get bad news or something. So I don't even ask for bad news. I just want to know good things and messages that people need to hear in order to move ahead, carry things forward. So we get stuck. We're humans. We get stuck in the now and the old days, when what we should be stuck in is the now and the future, because then you can make things happen, So 13 episodes. The next one, we're going to start with our, comments and live call. So please, if you've been watching or you want to have a reading, you can either put a message in the comments, you can contact us here. It's 2022. You know how to get in touch with us. Tell us that you want to get a reading and you want to do it live, or we can even do another type of thing where we can do readings, off the air, and then just feature some little bits of them. So even if you're someone who doesn't want to do a live reading, that's cool too. Just let us know. Or if you have comments about the show, I'm a stand-up comic, so I have heard a lot of criticisms, and it's what it is. It's part of the business. So either way, I hope that you guys have been enjoying it as much as I have. I mean, even myself, I've kind of reconnected with all this stuff like I did not too many years ago. Because, before I started doing the tarot readings and learning about tarot, I was not into tarot at all. In fact, I thought of it as like kind of crazy in a sense. Like, how can these cards with pictures? But it was the perception of that. That was the very practical perception. Then I realized that anything can be a tool. I mean, you don't need a card with a picture on it. It can be rocks, it could be flowers, whatever it is that can help you to organize the feelings and thoughts that you're having, and to be able to articulate them and communicate them. That's all that these things are. I don't ever say that these are magic. There's no magic in these. The magic is you. You are the magic. We should change the name of the show to Welcome to You Are the Magic with Dwayne. So thank you guys for watching. I'm losing my voice. It's beginning to be fall and I have allergies, and doesn't matter what sign you are, you probably are right along with me, a lot of you. So thank you for watching. And hey, I'm looking forward to our live readings. Stick with us and keep looking up.